EWS,
the Overnight Underground Podcast. First, the headlines. Howard Stern says Trump should quit.
Why don't you get out of there? Give someone else a chance.
Hey, I know, let's shove light bulbs up our noses. The DOD needs more needles, the hooded shopper is not guilty, and cheap movies may make a comeback. These stories and more coming up on today's Overnight Underground News. I'm John Ford. White House advisor and Trump crotch fruit main squeeze Jared Kushner hinted the other day that there may not be an election in November.
You gotta be kidding me.
The Washington Post and other sources report that Kushner suggested that there was uncertainty about whether the presidential election would happen in November because of this whole global pandemic thing. The presidential aide later clarified his comments a bit in a Time magazine interview.
It's not my decision to make, so I'm not sure I can commit one way or the other. But again, hopefully by the time we get to September, October, November, we've done enough work with testing and with all the different things we're trying to do to prevent a future outbreak of the magnitude that would make us shut down again.
Just to clarify,
I lied.
The one-time king of all media has called on President Trump to step down.
The people Trump despises love him the most. Think about it. The people who are voting for Trump, for the most part, he doesn't want to. You go look at Mar-a-Lago, see if there's any people that look like you. I'm talking to you in the audience. The Trump voter who, idolizes the guy, he despises you.
That's Howard Stern on his satellite radio show. The previously relevant radio star went on to say that it would be, quote, extremely patriotic for Mr. Trump to step down. Wait, wasn't Howard Stern one of those celebrities who went out of his way to popularize and normalize Trump? Now he's trying to cleanse himself from the smoldering runaway train wreck that has become the Trump presidency? Besides, whoever looked to Stern as a voice of reason? Lesbian dial-a-date, butt bongo fiesta, maybe, but logic and reason?
I hate your work. I hate you. Why, I wouldn't even trust you to cover a hole in the carpet, let alone another story.
I know. Let's treat coronavirus by shoving light bulbs up your nose. Wait, isn't this the same idea that got Trump called on the carpet by the press?
Supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way.
NBC Chicago reports the Canadian company behind the technology says their Steri-Wave technology could stop the spread of coronavirus by eliminating the viral load in your nose.
I would rather stick my nose in the deep fryer.
According to them, the coronavirus tends to colonize in the nose, so the process involves swabbing the nose with a chemical compound. A technician then inserts a fiber optic probe into the nose and turns on a red light.
You don't have to put on a red light.
Here's Dr. Merrill Beal from the University of Minnesota.
When you shine that light in the presence of the photosensitizer that's on the virus, it basically blows the virus up.
Look at the vein on that guy's forehead. He's gonna blow.
There's no vaccine for COVID-19, but that won't stop the government from spending millions on injection devices. A press release on the Department of Defense website announced a $138 million contract to fund production of 500 million pre-filled COVID-19 vaccine injection devices. The contract went to Appiject Systems America for two projects known as Project Jumpstart and Rapid USA. The apparent goal of these two projects is to have vast amounts of injection devices ready to go if and when a COVID-19 vaccine becomes available.
No, this won't hurt a bit.
Well, this is kind of creepy. The Seattle Times is reporting that when restaurants open in Washington state, they will have to keep a log of customers for coronavirus contact tracing. Nothing like going out to dinner and being asked for your papers.
State security, your papers, please.
The governor's office released a set of requirements that restaurants will have to comply with if they want a blessing from Big Brother to open their dine-in service. The restaurants will have to, quote, create a daily log of customers and maintain that daily log for 30 days, including telephone, email contact information, and time in.
You'll need proof of age, identity, and citizenship.
Last week, a man with a KKK hood sent shockwaves of offense through the Southern California community of Santee, calling for the full extent of the law to be leveled at the hooded shopper. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department earlier this week issued a press release saying they had no legal grounds to charge the man.
No shit, Sherlock.
The man was interrogated, and later detectives conferred with both the U.S. Attorney's Office and the San Diego County District Attorney's Office and came to the obvious conclusion that no law was broken. The press release basically points out what was already blatantly obvious to legal half-wits everywhere, that the U.S. Supreme Court and the Constitution spell out the fact that freedom of speech means hateful speech is still protected speech. I wonder how much money they spent investigating what they already knew wasn't a crime to begin with in the first place.
Show me the money.
This makes sense. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that movie theaters are considering offering $2 movies when they reopen. Due to the pandemic, there's not a lot of new movies coming out that can get folks back in the theaters, so some cinemas plan to reopen with classics at classic prices. The films will include Jaws and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. How the hell is that a classic? Anyway, the move is to tempt cautious audiences back into cinemas. I'll pay $2 to see a classic Hitchcock movie in a theater any day of the week. Anything is better than Batman 12, Revenge of the Stakey Cave.
You're supposed to be dead. Sorry to disappoint.
Holy shit! You want to feel really old? Valerie Bertinelli turns 60 this month. If you don't know who Valerie Bertinelli is,
get out. N-E-W-S.
A mostly correct and occasionally incomplete transcript and links to reference sources and articles of this Overnight Underground can be found at overnightunderground.com.